All right, we are here to talk NHL 94, and this is a special episode because we're doing this live on stream on Twitch with Brian, who's playing the game. How you doing, Brian?
Yeah, I'm not doing too bad. I've been playing this game over the course of the week, but been trying to get the Twitch channel back up and running. And what a better time to do it than playing NHL
Hell
94,
yeah,
right?
buddy.
Like, this game is just pure
Man,
gold.
already I'm watching
It's
this and like the title screen and everything is different on the SNES versus I've got the Genesis version. Um, and there's
oh
there's
yeah.
there's some little differences. It's kind of cool seeing that. Um, yeah, this is going to be a good time. Did you
What's
yeah.
another? Oh, Nordiques versus
Oh,
the
there we go.
Whalers. There
Yeah,
you
the
go. Two
the
dead
battle of
teams.
the greatest retro logos of all time. uh,
Oh
yeah,
man.
man. Oh man, this is great. Sorry, I'm gonna be like so distracted this whole time. So hopefully this doesn't make for a terrible podcast.
Yeah. I'm just gonna tell the people who are actually watching us on Twitch right now, we're not gonna react to the comments so much because it's going to be kind of hard if we
Oh man,
do.
I can't split my
So
attention
if you're
that.
listening to this
Yeah,
in the podcast, you won't understand what I just said. But if you're here on the Twitch channel, thanks for joining us,
yeah,
Sam. Take it
yeah.
away.
Thanks everybody. Um, so yeah, let's start from the beginning here. Did you obviously played this quite a bit? Am I right? Back in
Oh
the
yeah,
day.
this was a game we got in. I think '93 is like when the game
Yeah.
came out because they always are like a year ahead. And 93 was the year that Montreal won the cup, and that's the last time a Canadian team actually won the cup until this year when Toronto, I swear to God, is going to win it
We can
this
only
time.
hope.
But no, this is also the game that actually stopped me and my brother from playing games together.
Uh-oh. Do
Uh,
tell.
we would fight. Yeah, okay, so before I get into the actual game, um, back in aught 90 something, we were playing this game, and if one of us scored and cheered, the other one would get pissed and be like, yeah, you stop bragging, shut up, stop bragging. And it actually came to the point where we would score a goal and be stone faced because we didn't want to piss the other one off. And it just quit becoming fun. And to this day, I this is the game series that enrages me the most. Uh, yeah, I play NHL 2025 and I'm angry, like instantaneously angry.
Even just when you're playing by yourself? I mean,
Yeah.
it's a lot harder.
It got to the point where, yeah, my dog would leave the room when they heard the EA Sports, and she was just
Oh yeah,
gone.
there's
Because I would, like, it's just instant
there's
anger.
certain sounds that my dogs are just like, yeah, no, bye. This actually, the Super Nintendo version. Obviously, I played the Sega version. I've got a physical copy. Um, this looks better, and you don't. You won't hear me say that a lot with, uh, you know, the Super Nintendo version versus the Sega version. I think sometimes the Sega version looks and sounds a little bit better, even if the Super Nintendo version
Yeah.
plays better or is, you know, considered the better version. I think this looks pretty damn good. And I really liked, like, I was confused when someone commented in the Discord at some point this week when I was playing this, and they said like, "Oh, I love the announcers beforehand," and I was like, "What are you talking about?" Because the Sega doesn't have that.
Oh, it doesn't? Like that big spiel there about
Yeah,
the
like
teams?
you had like the digital sprite of the announcer, going through like a whole spiel about who's playing and stuff like that. That was pretty cool, but yeah, Sega didn't have that. So I guess Nintendo did what Sega didn't, or
Sega
whatever. I don't
didn't,
know.
yeah.
Just that doesn't work when you reverse it.
That's awesome.
Myself, I didn't have this game growing up. I don't think I had a hockey game of my own until NHL 99, which is kind of the one I played the most for a while. But my cousin had NHL 96, and I think 96 is the other one that people point to as being a great one.
Yeah, I think that's where you could create a
Mm-hmm.
player, and it came to the point where I'm fucked. Oh. Yeah, it came to the point where you could create your own player, and you could like overpower them, so you became a superstar. You just make yourself, and like
Oh
every
God,
kid
create a
did.
player used to be broken in old sports games. Like when they,
It
I mean,
still
it still
is.
is, but like, I think there was a point where you could, like we would make them like fastest, shortest, fattest. Like you could top out their speed, but they'd be like 500 pounds and like 5 foot. Oh, Pat Verbeek, check it out.
Yeah, yeah. I always tried to make like I used to make teams of 100%
Mm-hmm.
players, like goalie that couldn't be beaten and players that were so fast. It kind of ruined the game for me.
Yeah, it's not.
So I started realizing that you kind of have to have that skill
Yeah, it's
difference.
not as fun when you just steamroll everyone all the time. Although that can be fun too.
Yeah.
um,
Well,
yeah.
what was it? NHL 23 was the last one I purchased, and I uh, I was playing that game, and I wanted a perfect record. So if I was gonna lose the game, I actually turned off the game so it wouldn't save my loss, and I'd replay the game until I won it. And I actually only made it through about 25 games before I got bored, but I'm pretty sure I played a whole season.
Wow, I mean, that's dedication. But yeah, like I just
Well, it
turning
was
it off, like fuck this, I'm not playing anymore. I just,
yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm taking my puck and
yeah.
going home, right?
Oh man, yeah, this is fun. I obviously this is the first time we're trying this, so let us know. Like on the audio medium, this might not be as good as a standard episode, but let us know. But this is a good time.
Yeah.
I just love how you seem like you have some penalties and like different. You got offsides and stuff like that. That was all default turned off.
Yeah, I've turned it all
Okay.
on. So I have to manually change my lines,
Okay.
and
Oh, we got
um
penalty.
I have to offsides and penalties, and I almost put it in my own net, and oh whoops, that was fucked
Yeah.
up. It's funny because I'm playing Quebec Nordiques a year before they went to Colorado and won the cup there. So I got like great players like Joe Sakic
Oh
and Matt
yeah.
Sundin.
Man, how shitty is that for Quebec? Where it's like, oh, your team's gonna move and then win the cup the next year. That sucks.
The worst part is they built a new arena in Quebec, hoping to get. Well, they wanted the Winnipeg Jets when they came back, so they kind of went with that. Build the arena, and they will get the hockey
Mm-hmm.
team, but it never came to fruition.
Yeah, that sucks.
So it
That's a
sits there completely limp, and then every time there's an expansion team with Vegas and Seattle, they put or not, yeah, Seattle Kraken, no, Utah.
oh god, yeah.
Sorry,
When
yeah, Seattle and Utah and Vegas. They put their name
uh
in, and they get completely shut out by Bettman. Bettman does not want a team in
that guy's
Quebec.
such a little tiny dick. Like just I hate Gary
Oh,
Bettman. Like yeah, it's great that he's expanded the sport, but he's such a
everybody
little
does.
weenie. he's just a
Oh, it's
he's
time
just
for
a
him to
New
go.
York businessman, and we know how that goes. Uh, just yeah, and then going back to like the having the penalties off, it's really kind of fun to play that way, but it gets really frustrating because like like you don't even have the puck yet, and the other team is just like coming over to cross check the shit out of you.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like you can do the power
Uh
checks
huh.
there, and that's where you get most of your penalties in this game because not very sophisticated. Like even right now, like I just ran into the goalie, and last time I did that, it actually gave me a penalty for interference, and it's very touch and go.
Yeah, I remember playing these. Yeah.
But no, I think the best part about going back to this game is I played the All Star team there just to kind of guess the
Mm-hmm.
number, and like right now I'm 52, and I don't know who that is because there's no names. But I started guessing numbers, and for the life of me, I couldn't remember who would wear number 11 in the 90s. And I eventually scored a goal with them, and it was Mark Messier. And I'm like, how the fuck did I forget Mark Messier?
Whoa, yeah, yeah, that is a weird
Like, this is
number.
one of those hockey cards that you wanted to get when you were
Right.
a kid.
Yeah, I remember as a kid though, like when you're a kid and you're playing these games, it's sports games in general. I would turn off like a lot of the penalties because I didn't understand the rules. I feel like fuck this. I don't want to.
Yeah.
I want to have fun. I don't want to be like stopped for penalties every 5 seconds. So yeah, you just go on and turn all the offsides off and like two line pass. I would turn off all the
Yeah.
time. Oh, there we
Oh,
go.
you bitch. Yeah, it was that was what was fun about this game as well, is you could turn off those things that would essentially be the annoyance for the game, and you would be able to actually compete. Like, obviously right now I'm losing 2-0 because fuck me if I can't score a goal to save my
You're
life.
also like multitasking. It's kind of hard to podcast. It's actually kind of hard to podcast and watch you play. I can't imagine, like, if I were playing, this would be a complete disaster, not just somewhat of a disaster.
Oh yeah. I've shut my brain off and I'm going into like muscle memory right now. It's pretty good actually. I'm not too distracted, so that's what's really good about it. That, and I don't know any of the players, so I can't exactly like, start talking and yelling at who's fucking up on the ice, cuz let's be honest, it's me 100% of the time.
Whoever.
Oh, do you remember back in this era too? Like in the 90s, you had the touch icing, so people got like fucking railroaded into the boards and all these injuries. And then like Scott Stevens, who was famous for his hard hits, but turns out he just like fucking smoking people in the head.
Yeah, that was no touch icing is a good rule change for player safety for sure. Holy shit.
For players' safety, but yeah, I missed the
races,
I know
that.
Though.
I mean that there was something to that, but still, like, let's skate as fast as we can towards a wall, and then probably run into it.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. So playoffs this year, buddy.
Yeah,
playoffs.
what playoffs?
Fucking Toronto taking on Ottawa is the. Oh, for fuck's sakes! Can you hit the backside of a fucking barn? There we go. So Toronto taking on Ottawa this year. It got solidified yesterday, the day before we record, which is right now, I believe, a Wednesday. And yeah, it looks like we're gonna have a good series before Toronto goes golfing in 6
That's
games.
a great series. Like, how crazy is your area gonna be? Like, I mean, you're a Toronto
Oh my god,
fan.
it's insane. The tickets are already going for like $400.
Well, 400 Canadians. That's like $5. That's no big deal.
Here's the funny thing. I live in Ottawa, Ontario, which has more Toronto fans than Ottawa fans. So whenever Toronto or Montreal shows up, you go to a game and you get either a 50-50 split if they can do it, or you get more of the opposing team than the home team fans showing up.
Yeah, it's
getting better, but it used to be really bad. Like it used to be the point where it was embarrassing to be an Ottawa fan.
Yeah.
So this is going to be insane because they really tried to limit who got the tickets to people who are Ottawa fans, but it's not going to work. A game here is going to be like a Toronto home game with the way they're cheering for them.
That happens here for like more for baseball and basketball, unfortunately, because Milwaukee's a pretty small market. So if you get like, especially for baseball, you get like a Chicago Cubs game in town, and it's just like, I don't even want to go to those. But yeah, my team, my preferred team is the Anaheim Ducks, and that is because when I played games such as this, I liked the logo the best, and that's how I picked when I was.
Oh, I thought I thought you were going to be like, because I like the Mighty Ducks.
Like the movies
movie, and that's the only
the movies
reason.
did not really factor into it so much, because really I only of like the. If we take a pause and talk about the Mighty Ducks movies, I only really like the first one. After that, like,
yeah, that's actually true.
They came out with that movie. Disney started the franchise in Anaheim in '93, and then after that, like, D2 and D3 leaned heavily into like the NHL logo. I mean, like, I didn't care for those movies as much, and of course, like, oh, you just like it because that's how it started.
Yeah.
when I was like 8, so sue me. But yeah, that's my story. But yeah, today actually, it's fun that we're recording this today because today is the last regular season game. Ooh, nice one.
Tomorrow's the last regular season game for
today's the last one for the Ducks, and that's it because they did not make the playoffs again. It's been a bit of a drought.
So who you gonna put your money on in the playoffs this year?
I know you're biased to
Edmonton?
Canadian. No, not Edmonton. I know you're biased to Canadian teams, but I would, or your Canadian team. I'd like to see a Canadian team win the cup this year. I say that every year. My team's not in it.
You know what? I do say that too. Like, I do have a pecking order when it comes to teams in Canada, but quite honestly, like when Edmonton was like right at the cusp last year, I was all on board. I was just
Oh
100%
hell
into
yeah.
it. Um, but I also liked that series because it was a really, really good series.
Yeah, I'd say my preference is, what is there? I have to think about it now. So like Montreal's in, right? And Toronto and
Yeah,
Ottawa.
Montreal. Oh, no, Montreal hasn't solidified their
Oh,
spot
really? And
yet.
there's like only a couple of games left? That's wild. But yeah.
Yeah, they need 1 point to do it, and they lost like the
Oh
last two
shit.
games.
Um so yeah, and then you've got Edmonton and Vancouver's in, I believe, right?
No,
Oh, did they get
Vancouver's
out?
out.
They're out. And I think the
There's only one Canadian team on the West. No, two. There's Edmonton,
Winnipeg.
Winnipeg, Toronto,
Okay.
Montreal, and possibly. Oh, sorry, Toronto, Ottawa, and
Okay, if
possibly
Montreal makes it
Montreal.
in, you got a lot of chances there.
Yeah,
uh
except for one Canadian team's out in the first round because of the Ottawa
yeah,
Toronto
you
series, and then
cannibalize each other.
yeah, you know how it is. Let's go look at the game stats. All right, I played one period at this point of the podcast. We're about 17 minutes in. The score is 2-2. I came back from a 2-0 deficit. Hartford is beating Quebec with 13-10 shots. My shooting percentage is better just because of that. What a terrible stat. Oh my god. We're both 0 for 1 on the power play, and we both have a $1.26 in power play minutes. So yeah, that's a great first
Yeah,
period.
what
So I'm gonna keep you up to date when I'm doing
that's
all
right.
these.
What an
Yeah.
even first period. Um
Yeah, exactly. Like that was creepily even.
was 94 for sure your favorite, like beyond like 94
I
95?
never bought 95 or
Okay.
96. I rented them, but I never bought them because they never captured the magic of this game. This was the best Super Nintendo NHL game, in my opinion. I never wavered from this one, and I will hold it to this day that this is the only NHL game I will play for the Super
Yeah,
Nintendo.
this looks fantastic. I think the 96 argument kind of goes more towards the Genesis. I think 96 on the Genesis was probably better. I might be just talking out of my ass here, but like this, to me, I'm like watching the stream here. This looks better to me than my Genesis version does. So there's something to be said for that.
I don't think I've ever seen the Genesis version, which is weird because, like you said earlier, like Genesis, everything tends to look better than Super Nintendo, and
Yeah.
that's not an insult to Super Nintendo. That's just, you know, accolades to Genesis for just being that much
Right,
better.
and I even
like
I even
graphically.
remember the Genesis being, like sports games being a real selling point for the Genesis. There were like, Madden and
Well, yeah, EA had that whole thing where they had like the yellow tabs on their sports games, and I remember there was something about that. Like, there's something special about EA and how they worked on
yeah,
Genesis.
back before they were fucking evil.
No, they were evil
Well,
back then.
yeah,
Kind of like Elon Musk was evil back
that's
when
that's
everybody
true.
liked
Little babies can be evil too. Fuck those little evil babies.
him. Yeah. Look at Hitler; his finger painting sucked.
Why do you think he got so mad? um,
Yeah.
Yeah, so 94 was your gold standard. Did you like, what do you think of, we could kind of broaden this out and talk about your favorite video game hockey in general. Like, what did you think of like Blades of Steel or any of the Gretzky games?
Oh my God, Blades of Steel. Well, there's a quick play on Blades of Steel versus
Right.
ice hockey. I can't tell you which of those games I actually like better, but hockey was so pedestrian back in the NES days. It was just very simplistic. Like your goalie moved with no matter where you put your controller. So if you're chasing the puck and your goalie is following it, it was one of those things you had to think of two things at once. And this game at least allows you to not have to worry about your goalie because he is somewhat AI controlled. Right. Which, thank God, because I have no ability to think of two things at once.
Do you always leave? I always leave the goalie on automatic. I think there is a manual goalie control. Does that automatic?
Oh, there is somewhere. There's also
Yeah,
there's a button you can press too to take control of your
that's
goalie.
the beauty of some of these games, especially like a fast-paced sport like hockey that doesn't really stop, is that especially in the later iterations of these games, you could set it to where you control as much or as little as you want. You could also, oh, is this a is this a 3-on-5?
Yeah, 5-on-3, but I'm the one on the power play.
Well, there we go. You better score.
At
Uh,
this age of my life, there is no way I was scoring.
even in a power play situation. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I like how you can. Oh, there we go. I like how in
Yeah,
modern
scored.
iterations of games like this, you can even, you know, adjust strategy. Like you can do your dump and chase or what have you for strategy, and you can also call out lines manually if you really want to. I never mess with that.
Yeah.
I think it's too much to worry about at once.
You know, my biggest problem with the modern NHL games is you can't play traditional hockey in them. You can't do the cycle. You can't dump and chase and stuff like that. They haven't figured out how to make that work. And it becomes people who, they play games so religiously that they've learned the exploits and how to, beat the goalie without even
Right.
trying.
Exploit that jank.
And yeah, and like this game, you can still kind of do it. It's obviously it's like very dumb AI, but you can still kind of set your lineup to actually rush the zone and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But I don't know. It's just yeah, newer games are too complicated.
In the
I
mod,
think.
yeah,
Like even the skill sticks and stuff like that, like I cannot figure them out. And there's people that are
yeah.
just that's all they use, and it's like, what the fuck is
Yeah,
wrong with you?
I do like that it's there
maybe
because you can use. I mean, it's just like FPS, like having the dual stick shooters versus how they used to be on like in the N64 days. Like you have that second stick, yeah, use it for one for movement, one for stick handling. It's really a cool idea. It's just really it's hard to master.
it is. Yeah, it's what makes it worse too is it's supposed to mimic how you would actually like do toe drags and stuff like that, but it just doesn't feel right. And you're thinking again, it's like twin stick shooters. You got to think of two things: your gun and your movement
Mhm.
there. And my brain is not programmed that way, so
Yeah.
I have a feeling if I took the time to actually learn it, I would do good. But I just don't
Yeah,
have the patience. I just want to play hockey. I don't want to sit there and relearn an entire game
who's got
system.
that kind of time?
Not for something I've been playing for what now 31 years. If we go by this game,
Yeah, this is a real if it ain't broke, don't fix it type scenario. This is like simplistic but also perfect.
Well, was nice when they brought out that special edition OV NHL 94 esque type game,
Yeah.
and it tells you it's actually a testament about this game when they brought out a special edition 94 version of a modern game as opposed to like any other of the I guess pixel graphic era games.
Yeah, kind of like I wonder how successful or how well that did because it is available on like eShops and stuff that you can still pick it up and play.
Well, I think it's still on Game Pass.
Yeah, I mean it's there. You wonder how successful that was because it would be cool to revive a lot of those old, like imagine NBA Jam but with, I mean maybe they've done this and it's just not well known or something like that, but like an NBA Jam with current players, that would be
No, I don't
cool.
think they've done it.
No, I don't think so either.
Oh fuck, NBA Jam with
Yeah.
Well, I've always said that maybe updating the mechanics of an NHL game or any sports game for that matter should be done every like 4 to 5 years, but just update the rosters. Charge like a roster update fee, $10 or something.
Oh yeah.
Probably make a lot more money if you're not developing a new game every year. But then again, Control C, Control V is pretty much their mantra.
Yeah, I mean they just repackaged the same,
what was it, the Switch FIFA game there? They forgot to change the banners and they had last year's date on the FIFA thing on the in the crowd there in the
Yep.
crowd
Whoops.
banners. Yeah, it's just kind of like way to fuck
Yeah.
that up.
Way to prove our point that it's the same game every year.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
No.
have you ever played any like? There's a few, I think pretty decent indie hockey games that are kind of retro style. Have you messed with any of those?
No, but you know what I'd really kind of like is there's a game, what was it called? Dodgeball Academy, and they made dodgeball an RPG. I would love something like that in a sports game where you take on the role of a player and,
Well, it
it works with RPG elements there. You have to level up skills. Every game you get experience and you'll level up and you get better and better and through the seasons and the
well, yeah,
years.
dude. Have you ever played
I,
Super
I
Blood Hockey? Oh,
no.
that's kind of exactly
Is that what that
that's
is?
kind of exactly what that game is. There's a story mode where
Well,
so it's retro style, but there's extra fighting, extra blood. You like no rules, so it's kind of like NFL Blitz meets this style of like 8-bit hockey game. But then in between your games, you have all of your players, and you have to, you know, let them rest or have them eat or lift weights or like do different things to level up different stats between games and stuff. Yeah,
oh,
and
cool.
then it gets extreme because like if they're injured, you can like pull the plug on their life support and then like hire out a new player. Like when you pull the plug, like blood sprays everywhere. Like obviously it's like pixel 8-bit blood, but it's hilarious. Like it's actually a pretty tough game too, but it's pretty well done. I played the hell out of it a few years ago, and it's a fun game. Like they don't have real teams; they just have like country teams. Uh,
Well, of course,
well,
no self-respecting league is
well,
going to give
right,
them the
yeah, they
rights
wouldn't
to
have
their
rights to it,
players.
but like they just have country teams. They didn't like make up. I kind of wish they would have made up team names. Uh, ooh, that was a good goal.
Well, it's like fuck, what game was that? There was a Japanese company that made a sports game. I think it was baseball, and they just made up a whole bunch of what they thought sounded like American names, and they was just full of
Oh yeah, I love
ridiculousness.
those. And I think you can name the players too, and then but then the other like plot point or storyline, I guess, for the RPG element is that um, all of your players are prison inmates. And so like it's like a prison hockey league. That's why it's so violent. Uh, it's good. So Super Blood Hockey, I recommend highly.
Yeah, something I'm definitely going to look into. I just asked the chat here in Twitch if they can actually
I
hear
hope
you.
so.
So hopefully they'll answer. I should have asked that like right at the beginning. I never thought about it. I could just be sitting here talking to myself and everybody's just like, what the
Yeah,
fuck is up
like
with this
a
guy?
real good one-sided conversation. That would be weird. We should do that. Upload a an episode where you forget one of our tracks and it's just like really odd pauses and
Oh, I almost did on Retro Bites this week. Because when Alan's track comes in, it comes in as looking like it's stereo, even though it's mono. So I thought I had all three tracks, and I did not. So I almost started editing without all three
whoopsie.
tracks, and I don't listen to it besides like here and
Hmm.
there. And I could have missed. I think it was my track that was missing. So considering on that one, I'm pretty heavy on the talking. That would have sucked. I would have noticed it before I released it, but
Got a
geez.
spot check.
So yeah, this is why we work as a team. Go team.
Ooh.
Oh, you
Bogeyman
can hear
can hear
Sam
me
better
better
than
than
hear Brian. Thanks, Savagery, for letting me know. I am going to turn up my mic.
that means that no, you know what? That just means that my track is just going to be like off the charts.
You never know. I can adjust some of the volume in the Twitch stream as well, so maybe it's good that you're coming in. You're doing a lot of the talking. I'm just kind of sitting here listening to you. I've also turned my my microphone down a bit to try to curb some of the high peaking volumes I get. Yeah, there was a guy on YouTube that actually he wrote in that our tracks were inconsistent, the music was too loud, and I've taken that to heart. I have literally spent months trying to figure out how to get our audio to sync
Yeah, it's
up.
good constructive feedback.
Yeah. I appreciate it. The guy told us he'd never listen to us again, so I just don't give a crap about that.
Thank you for the constructive
But
feedback.
I want to improve my skills.
But
Yeah,
bye.
at least he actually gave feedback. Do you know how many people friggin' show up and just like, no, you guys fucking suck, and that's it?
Yeah. I mean, yes, and.
But I don't think we're talking about NHL anymore, are we?
Oh man, no. I was actually trying to find because there was speaking of. I mean, we did talk a little bit. I mean, let's be honest. This is a pretty thin game to do a whole episode on. So that's why we're doing this and trying out something different with this. Because I mean, this is our first. We're into the late 70s of our episode run, and this is our first sports game, I think. Unless you count Mario Kart.
Yeah, it is our first sports game. I'm going to actually upload the YouTube video of this Twitch stream well before we actually release the full episode. So, if people actually check out our YouTube channel, they'll actually see the podcast early. And they'll see what actually goes on when we don't know what we're doing, which is every day.
Every day. Yeah, so I found there is another hockey game that I had on my wish list because I think it's probably only available digital. So we talked about Super Blood Hockey. That one's really fun. I highly recommend it. It is very tough, but it's fun. And then there's another one that's modeled kind of more after like the N64 era graphics. It's called Bush League Hockey or Bush Hockey League. That one I want to check out too.
I think you told me about that one.
That one I want to check out too. But yeah, I think it's got kind of middling reviews. I think Blood Hockey does too. I mean, the indie sports game is kind of a niche. I think people that really, really love sports games like realistic, I think at least as realistic as possible sports games. So I think some of these like kind of quirky indie sports games maybe don't do as well sometimes, or maybe they're just bad. I don't know. Who knows? I know that Super Blood Hockey is good, but so I'll vouch for that one. But
yeah. Going on that vein, what do you think of those franchise mode type games where you actually sit behind the desk as opposed to play any actual sport?
Where it's just kind of more of the GM simulator?
Yeah, and some like F1 has a game completely dedicated to that called F1 Manager, where you manage a whole F1 team.
I never got into those. I know they've made the manager games.
It sounds like work.
It's like work sim or whatever. I always see like, hold on, I'm gonna look up something. Sorry.
Here we go. Sam is typing.
I know. Sorry. Whatever. Okay. Yeah, there's a game that released in 2020 called Truck and Logistics Simulator, and I guarantee you that's boring as fuck. That's just a job.
All right. You got to look this one up online. I'm going to send you the link. It's called Cross Country Canada. It was an educational game we played in school, and you took on the role of a trucker, and you had to go across Canada and pick up cargo and drop it off in other places. But the caveat was, in the box, there was a map that told you where all the different types of cargo you could pick up across the country were, and it was all text-based. So, like, there was graphics for the truck and stuff like that, but you had to do all your commands through text, like start truck, drive truck, all that kind of stuff, stop, and you had to rest. It was just like this. It was a fun little simulator game, but we were never given the map with where all the stuff we had to pick up was. So we would just drive around the country burning fuel, getting tired, taking way too long to get items, to get deliveries. And it was just the best time in the world. It was such a dumb game. God, I remember
Kind of sounds like, well, I know you guys had it too, but it kind of sounds like the Canadian version of Oregon Trail.
It probably was. Actually, you know what? I almost damn near guarantee you it was just a rip-off of Oregon Trail.
I'm looking at screenshots.
Except for no dysternia. We got maple syrup fever.
Can you pick up friggin' hitchhikers? That's crazy. That sounds unsafe.
Oh, they're not hitchhikers here. They're just friends you haven't met.
I tell you what, if it's text based like this, they need to cross this with like Leisure Suit Larry and make like a dirty like like sketchy truck stop like simulator. Anyways, this is way off topic.
Oh yeah, we're not even on hockey anymore. Like we're not even like skirting it anymore. But like, what else can you say about this game? I mean, let's look at it. You said the graphics are great. That's true. It looks fantastic. It's very clean, crisp. The players are the players. The numbers tell you who they are. They got the roster of players for this era. The interface is just exactly what you need it to be. It doesn't need to be fancy because all you need is a timer, the score, and if you're on the power play or not, and that's all they have.
I like the face-off window.
They have the organ music playing.
Music, yeah.
Yeah, they're yeah. I like that. That's a nice little touch. And no, it's just everything about this game it's just, I don't know, it's nostalgic. Like I love it. Like as soon as I started playing it again, I almost couldn't put it down. Like I had to actually focus on finishing some assignments there, and it's just, man, I don't know how to like really summarize the my feelings on this.
It really
game.
is hard to put into words.
I love it so much.
Yeah, like these.
But I will say I will never play this game with my freaking brother again. Like I know he occasionally listens to this, but he can go just absolutely fuck himself. We will never play this game.
Hell yeah! I mean,
he's gonna punch me so hard for that.
Like a open season here. Chirp away, like really let him have it.
Oh yeah. But
insult his mother. Or maybe not.
He does. Yeah, insult his mother. His mother's a whore. Wait, what?
Yeah, there's something to be said for like the games that just nail it for you. Like I feel the same about like Gen 1 Pokemon. Like I mean, you'll always go back to it, and that's your that's your comfort. This is it. It's hard to put into words. Nice.
Yeah, I think I know what made this game better than NHL 93, and it's the one-timer. I think this is the first game they actually added the one-timer, which is what just elevated above like last year's iteration of this game.
God,
which I believe was actually the first one.
Could you imagine developing the game and like figuring out like play testing and figuring out the one-timer? We're like, we nailed it. And I remember also
high fives all
I remember
around.
the like NHL 99. I unfortunately don't have the boxes and manuals anymore, but I've got my original copy. I remember them making a very big deal about adding fighting in and having like the fighting be realistic and spending time like new fight engine like like it was such a big deal. They don't. There's no fights in this, is there? Like they didn't introduce that yet in 94.
No, there isn't. I hate fighting in hockey unless there's actually passion behind it. I hate those manufactured fights.
Yeah, and once they changed the rule, you can't, you have to wait for a face off or whatever. It's just kind of weird how like two players just kind of like back up and kind of separate and start fighting. Those are weird. I like when they kind of happen naturally in the course of play, I suppose. Yeah, I don't know. Ooh, that was a bad offside.
Yeah, they were offside. I was typing something in the chat.
Yeah, it's great. That's another thing that we can mention. It's a good pickup, Bucklocks. I love seeing all the, usually it's like current coaches and GMs as players. Ron Hextall in the goal here.
Oh yeah, that's true.
He scored with
old fucking Hextall was like let's shift into that. We haven't done that yet. Let's talk about our favorite players in the era. Like Gretzky was still playing. You had this was the year after that Wayne Gretzky you bastard. In the 93 Cup that Montreal won, they won it against Los Angeles, but that was the year that in the Toronto-Los Angeles game, Gretzky fouled Doug Gilmour, and it's considered like the holy grail of Toronto controversies because Gretzky never got a penalty. and then he went on to assist in getting the game-winning goal.
Right.
And of course, everybody in Toronto holds that against him. And of course, now he faux pas, and he's no longer the greatest goal scorer ever. So we don't like him anymore. Get out of Canada. Not that he's ever been here.
Right. Yeah, and I actually a good call out is that if you've got ESPN or Disney now or whatever combination of the two, that we got Beagles joining the party in here. They got the collars on.
Yeah, we can hear them.
Well, they got cut their nails or something, man. The King's Ransom documentary is really, really good. It's just kind of funny, like, man, Canada's, the greatest player of all time from Canada comes to LA, and then, that happens, and that's got to sting.
Yeah. Oh my God, that was such a huge event in Canada. Like when Gretzky announced that he was going to LA there to, live with his wife in sin, with the sin being him leaving
right.
Canada. I remember that. Like there was news conferences, press conferences. Everybody was talking about it. It was like, oh, it's the end of hockey in Canada as we know it, and nothing really changed.
Yeah.
I mean, the game didn't get worse. It was just he left, and Edmonton fell out of graces of being the best team ever.
It's a big deal, and the beginning of that documentary is really interesting because they talk about what the team means to Edmonton and what those cup wins meant to the city of Edmonton, and it really reminded me a lot of it being a small market and everything, and it really reminded me of Green Bay. Watching stuff about the Packers, it's a lot of the same. The people really get up for it, and that's like the lifeblood of the town.
Yeah. It's weird how sports kind of, it's the thing that the working man goes to take their frustrations out and relax and stuff like that.
Well, not anymore because it's too expensive.
But yeah, well, yeah, that's true. Especially up here, it's always been expensive. All right, Sam, name two teams.
Two teams we want to see play. Give me the Ducks. I want to see you play as the Ducks. That's what I want.
They don't exist.
Yes, they do. You just passed them.
Sorry, I was going with D for Ducks.
This is the first.
All right, needs second team.
Oh, I don't know. How about Winnipeg? That's who they're playing tonight. This is the last game of the season. Although this is not the Winnipeg that exists today. The Winnipeg that exists today went to Arizona.
Yeah, this is the Arizona Winnipeg. Thomas Steen, God, I remember that.
Timu. That's my favorite player.
Yeah,
but
Phil
not
Housley.
That's Timu, but not where you think he's going to be. He's in Winnipeg still, being the greatest rookie of all time.
All right, I'm turning off the. Oh yeah, there's an option here in the bottom for goalie to automatic or manual.
Yeah, no thanks.
But I'm turning off penalties and line changes this time, just for funsies.
Oh, you're playing as Winnipeg?
And it'll be a cold day in hell before I play as Anaheim.
Yeah, stupid Disney franchise bullshit.
Yeah,
there's actually a
friggin' was it the triple deke, the most pedestrian of maneuvers ever in hockey? Like, show me a Michigan. There you go.
Right. Oh, well, that's probably what's going to happen tonight. For those of you just listening on audio, Brian scored immediately as Winnipeg.
Oh, here's a fun little Brian fact for anybody who ever cares about Brian. I actually got to watch Winnipeg Jets. Oh, look at that. Fuck, they scored on me. But I got my first NHL game ever was Winnipeg in the 1980s.
Wow.
And my dad took us to watch the Minnesota North Stars versus Winnipeg.
Wow, what a matchup. Two teams that, Winnipeg does again, but as an expansion. But it's like, not as an expansion, because that's where Atlanta moved.
No, Winnipeg went to Phoenix, and then Atlanta went to Winnipeg.
And Minnesota went to, actually, I think moving hockey teams around is probably one of the more fascinating things to me, or just sports franchises that have moved, and then obviously the records move with them. which actually makes like football wise makes the Arizona Cardinals one of the oldest NFL franchises, which is really weird because they started out in Chicago.
Yeah.
But same thing, like, you know, the Winnipeg Jets don't have the old Winnipeg Jets records. That all lives now in friggin' Utah.
No, they'll still live and die by
Right.
those old records. Like all those banners are up in the
right,
rafters.
as they really should be. But yeah, it's just funny how like technically the records don't live in that franchise anymore.
Yeah, well, technically records don't live in any franchise because all the players that made the records are long retired and or dead.
Well, right, but the
like you can't tell me today's Edmonton Oilers are the same as the cup-winning '80s Edmonton Oilers.
Well, don't tell anyone from Edmonton that.
Two different teams, right? Like the only difference is, or only similarity, sorry, is that they're both wearing the same jersey.
Yeah, I've gone to I've only been to one NHL game, unfortunately, and that's it did feature the Ducks, but it was in Chicago.
Oh yeah.
It was a few years ago, but
well, Chicago was a good team a few years ago. Do you remember that series there where Boston looked like they were going to win the cup, and then Chicago got like 2 goals in the last minute and took the cup?
I remember that. I was watching that one.
Yeah, I fucking lube up and I watch that on YouTube all the time. Like, I don't hate teams, but God, I hate the Boston Bruins. I hate Marchand and whatever team he's on, which is Florida right now.
Yeah, he's one of the more hated players just ever, I think, and he really embraces that.
Yeah, well, it's the way he whines when he gets like slew-footed or cheap-shotted, and then he's the dirtiest player on the ice. Like he's cupping people, he's friggin' slew-footing them, he's going against the rules, and now that Chara's gone, he's getting his ass kicked.
Yeah,
that's what it was. Like anytime, well, it's like that Looney Tunes thing where the little dog, big dog.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like anytime the little dog did anything, the big dog would show up. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, that's neither here nor there. We're about 50 minutes into it. Do you want to sum up your feelings on this game?
I mean, we can wrap. Now we're just rambling. We've been rambling this whole time. Let us know what you think of the old live podcasting.
Yeah, you can go to podbean.com and drop a comment, or if your podcast service allows you to leave a comment, do leave a comment, or you can watch this video on YouTube and leave a comment there. If it sucked, let us know, because this is a new idea.
Actually, before we go, let me just kind of scroll through the chat here, because the those that have joined have given us a few comments. So let's just let me just see if there's anything good in here that we can.
Well, I know Bucklocks, he told us his first game, Flyers versus Dallas, which is a banger of a
Hell
game.
Yeah, especially in the...
But you think a guy from New Jersey, and if you don't know Bucklocks is from New Jersey, just ask him, he'll let you know. You think he would see the Devils play? You think he'd be a Devils fan?
You know what? The Devils were the team that I adopted because the Ducks suck, and I'm really sick of them missing the playoffs, and so I just decided I would pick an Eastern Conference team, because I don't like most of the other teams in the West for reasons, but I did. I chose the Devils, so go Devils. Otherwise, go fill in the blank team from Canada. I'm gonna run through these. Flyers Stars would be a really great matchup, especially in like the late '90s. Holy shit.
I remember the old Philadelphia Flyers, the brutes they were. They would just absolutely steamroll teams. Like I don't know if that's still how they build their teams, but Philadelphia has always been that let's get into a fight team rather than win the game. And if they had a fight, they would consider themselves the winners. And then for a while there, they were both tough and good.
The Broad Street Bullies.
Correct me if I'm wrong. They've won a few cups, right?
They won a couple in the 70s.
A streak.
Yeah. I don't know about a streak. I think they won a couple. The streak that I think you're talking about is the Islanders.
Islanders, yeah. They were pretty good there in the 80s. I think they were right before Edmonton just decided to dominate the league.
The 80s were the era of the blue and orange teams winning the cup every single year.
Blue and orange, great
It
color
is a great
combination.
color combination. I will say one more 30 for 30 I want to shout out. They don't do too many hockey ones, but the other one that I really enjoyed was the one where that random like businessman came in and bought the Islanders for like basically wrote bad checks and bought the New York Islanders. that one's nuts, and that's like the era of the like Gordon Fish Sticks logo. What a delight that one was.
That's
That
awesome.
one was even more fun than the Gretzky one. That's probably my favorite 30 for 30. Yeah, going back through here real quick. Thanks for joining, everyone. This was pretty cool. I'd like to get into streaming myself, so if you'd like to see me stream a game, probably be a turn-based RPG or something that I don't have to focus on too much while streaming, let me know. Sergeant Ombre says, "Go Anaheim Ducks." Thanks, buddy. They are out, but I will be cheering them on tonight for the final game. Or they'll probably get crushed by the Jets.
Oh yeah, Jets are like top of the league.
Hoagie Man says, "I'll have to let you know when I pick up Pikmin so we can cover that." Hell yeah, I love Pikmin. That's not anything to do with hockey, but I love Pikmin, so whatever.
Our podcast, we'll talk about what we want.
Whatever. Bucklock says, "I was an NHL 96 kid, but later came to appreciate the greatness of 94. Same here. Actually, I don't think I got a chance to really say this, but I think my NHL on Sega experience was with my cousin. We'd play 96 a lot, and also shout out to Madden.
Sounds like your first time.
Oh God, with my cousin, and and also we played the hell out of Madden 95, which I don't know if we do a full episode on Madden 95, but I think I have a copy here, and I think I'd do a quick play on that one. That's a meaningful game from my childhood, especially because you could put in the code to get the Jaguars and the Panthers, and that was kind of fun. I think that's about it. I mean, we weren't interacting with the chat too much, but it was cool to see you guys pop in there and chat us a little bit while we were doing the podcast. So I don't know. Again, let us know what you think of this as an audio format. It might not work that well, but we'll post Brian said he'd post the video. So with the video, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, and
Hoagie Man, I didn't realize this is a podcast as well. Yeah, this is the episode, buddy.
Yeah. Let's summarize our thoughts on this.
Yes.
Let's just kind of get into the end of this, and then we can end our recording and just
play.
Finish the stream here. And yeah, exactly. And then maybe one day we'll figure out a multiplayer game we can take on and stream together.
Sounds like a disaster.
Like best friends.
Right,
fuck you fucking spawn camper. Hey, yeah, you go ahead.
I am technically the host, so I'm gonna let you sum up, and I'll give the final thoughts. How about that?
Oh, okay. All right, so yeah, this game is pretty nostalgic for me. This game, it's just hitting right. Like I'm playing this game and I'm able to just talk. Like I'm everything I'm doing right now is muscle memory, and it's especially easy now that I don't have the line changes and stuff on. But I was really into the NHL, like hockey card collecting, all that kind of stuff, and I started as a Montreal fan because as a military kid, I moved around a lot. So I went with the team my dad went with. But when I finally got to Ontario, all my friends were Toronto fans, and that's who I started watching. And that's why I became a Toronto fan. And I've been a Toronto fan for, God, since about like 1989. And I just, I've stuck with them through thick or thin. So, people shit on Toronto all the time. But I'm getting off topic. Let's talk about the game. Overall, it plays good. It is fun. It is simplistic. It feels like almost an arcadey game where you can just pick it up and go. You can have a quick game that doesn't last too long. You can set the time between 5 to 20 minutes. It is just outstanding. It is an outstanding game. It gets a full 10 out of 10 for me, so I'm going to go ahead and just say that right now. I'm not one of those people who, has their favorite game. Like, nothing's getting compared to Chrono Trigger in my life, so everything can get a 10 out of 10. And in sports game world, this is my 10 out of 10 game.
Yeah, well put.
That's my
Well put.
summary.
Yeah, I really do enjoy this game. And games of its ilk on the 16-bit systems. This really takes me back to a simpler time. I mean, the sports games were simpler. Everything was simpler. Oh, penalty shot. Whoa. That's pretty cool. Anyways, sorry, I got distracted by the stream again. Yeah, I don't think specific experience with NHL 94 like you do, but played a bunch of 96. Going back to it and playing it these last couple weeks has been a real joy. Like you said, it's fun, it's simplistic, it kind of just nails it. It's the peak retro hockey game, I think, and it's there, just testament to its lasting power that people remember it so fondly. And EA has even gone in and made an updated version of this game with modern players. It's perfection. It's pick up and play perfection. And I'm going to give it a maybe like a 9 out of 10. I mean, I just don't have the same nostalgia with it, but I do appreciate.
No, because you played the Sega
yeah,
version.
that too. Like, I think I do, looking at this, I think the Super Nintendo version is probably the better version. But yeah, I mean, like going in there and seeing old players and, obviously old teams and logos and things is really nostalgic. And yeah, it was a simpler time, man. This goes right in there with, your Nicktoons and your 16-bit sports games and everything that. Yeah.
I was just kind of thinking about it, like while we were talking, like at the beginning there when I was picking the teams, I was like, Anaheim existed back then. It's amazing how old some of these franchises are getting. Yeah. Like I saw the Ottawa Senators there as well, and I forgot that when they joined the league, because they were one of those like original teams before the original six. Like they're an ancient team, and they're in this again. It just, yeah, like we had 28 teams by this point,
right? And
I'd have to count again.
Now we're up to 32.
Like not a lot of teams are missing.
No, yeah, it's pretty incredible. Yeah, great game. So. Yeah, thanks everyone for listening. Thanks to those of you who joined the stream. That was really cool. Hopefully we can do something like this again in the future, and we'll work
hopefully this
worked. We'll work the kinks out and or add kinky. What do we got next week, Brian? Final Fantasy IV?
Oh yeah, next week we're doing next week is going to be Legend of Zelda: Link Between Worlds. Oh shoot,
that's right. We changed up the schedule a little bit. But yeah, Link Between Worlds, that's a great game.
Yeah, and it's going to be the first episode where me, you, and Alan are back together since I was able to or unable to record regularly.
Yeah, it's really just been Retrobytes. So thanks again, everyone. We'll do another quick plug, linktr.ee/Retrotopia, where you can find all of our stuff. And hopefully we've been working on some pretty exciting things behind the scenes, so hopefully that will be up and running pretty soon, and we can share that with everyone. But I'll keep my cards close to
well, if you check our Discord, you can find our first ever Retrotopia t-shirt.
Hell yeah.
Which is part of T Public there. And saying made by Sam, logo made by me, proofread by Alan. It's a collaboration that we love.
Yeah, so go check that out. It's the show us your RPG-ness shirt. So if you know, you know, and if you don't, listen to the most recent Retro Bites, as we came up with that, and good job turning that around really quick. So I will sign us off. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time. Go Ducks. Sorry that it's the season's over, but let's give it a go, Maple Leafs. How about that?
Go Maple Leafs for up to 4 games.